Hello, my fellow humans. Corey Pound here. This video was supposed to be my very first video. I just didn't have it planned out. I didn't have anything written out. I just was like, I can do it on top of my head. And just boop. And then what came out was my first video was grieving. So, yeah, this is my video that I'm supposed to have out. My introduction video. So you guys know who I am and my story and where I came from. So, here we go. We're going to jump right into it. Yay! Hello, my fellow humans. As you know, my name is Corey Pound, and I'm deep diving in my own experience of autism and if I can provide others with insight and knowledge, awesome, because that's the goal. That's the main goal. Helping everyone, making everyone feel comfortable, and understanding myself too, because I am a late diagnosis. And because of that, I'm just fumbling around, learning everything I can and trying to help and I want people to, my fellow humans, I want them to not feel like they're trapped or feel like they're unheard and feel like they have no one to relate to. So I hope y'all can relate to me. That would be great. Um, and you get some knowledge out of this. Also great. I was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder and mild ADHD. Um, I have been on the journey for close to a decade. I have been misdiagnosed. Hi, it's my bubba. He's a key. I've been misdiagnosed multiple times. Each time I would talk to the doctors and therapists, they would diagnose me with borderline personality disorder. And with that, I was like, okay, I guess it's a step. Um, and I never felt like it was a true diagnosis. And what they used to, they diagnosed me with borderline personality disorder and acute ADHD. Now, when I got this news, it was hard to swallow. As I started therapy and I got on this thing called Adderall, I knew I was heading in the right direction. As time went on, about a year or so, it's a really weird, bad day. I don't even feel like doing this video. It's like everything's telling me, stop, but I'm doing it. I say, do. As time went on, and a year, or well, in my opinion, a year went on, and my opinion of terrible, terrible therapy. I decided to go for a second test, figure out a second opinion. And my first test that I did was an 8-hour test, and it was really weird. I was just gonna redo this video. No, I'm not gonna redo the video. I've done that 4 times. Okay, continue. So, and I did do an 8-hour test for my ADHD, and that's when I first went in to therapy to figure out if I have ADHD or not. Because a lot of my coworkers at the time, I was working at a retail store. I was a front end manager and supervisor over the cash office and stuff. And my employees would be like, "Spazzy, workplace." I'm like, "Yeah, but I also get things done though." And they're like, and then some of that just like resonated, and as I would think, I'm like, okay, there is something there. So I did. I went and did this 8-hour ADHD test, and let me tell you, that test sitting there. First of all, super like anxious, and I didn't know what to do. and I didn't want to offend anyone, so I just was sitting still and just going, I don't need no breaks. It's okay. But my therapist would take a break while I did some of the written stuff and whatnot. Yeah. So I told my therapist, I told her I didn't fully believe my diagnosis I got, and I believe I may be autistic. Mind you, I was doing video therapy with my therapist, um, and she stated I may very much be high functioning autistic. Then I thought to myself, maybe I'm onto something. I then told her about some sensory issues and asked, is there medications I can take to help curb and endure these mishaps? And because, um, you know, tiny mishaps aren't really tiny mishaps for us on the spectrum. It's like a whole thing. And I did end up losing my job. Um, it was a pretty good job. I was moving up and stuff, and it was a decent career. But moving on from that. She then suggested something to me, and I said, a medication. She suggested a medication to me, and I said, okay, that's fine. Let's give it a shot. In about a week into the medication, things shifted and changed in my things shifted and changed in my mind. I was more calm, and I was also kind of void of thought, which I welcomed the void of thought because there would be times where my thoughts and imagery and audio would just be very overwhelming. And I kind of I kind of liked that. But as time went on, it just didn't feel me. The medication and the void of thought, it's me. The thoughts and the audio and all that stuff. It's me, and I now know that I should accept that and should try to work around that, accept that that's me and it's okay. About a week into that medication, it shifted, and I just felt, like I said, crappy. And I was out and about. Here's a story I'm going to tell you. I was out and about with my brother. Brother just got back from the military and trying to enjoy some time with him. We're going to the mall. We got a flat tire, and flat tire to any old person. Like, well, that's an easy thing to do, It's super easy. For me, uh, normally it's easy, but because of the medication I was on, what the heck, I don't remember what it was called. Um, I was on Adderall at the same time, but I was only on this medication for about a week. Um, I was changing the flat tire, and because we didn't have the correct tool, a tire iron. Who doesn't have a tire iron? Yeah, I know I didn't have a tire iron. I should get a tire iron. I have a tire iron now. But we had to call our friend. He just lived down the street and he came with his tools. And when he pulled up, he looked at me and he goes, "You okay, man? You look really pale and kind of greenish." And as soon as he said that, because the whole time I'm just ignoring and trying to push my discomfort and whatnot away. And um, so he said that, and I just was like, nope, nope, bam. I felt dizzy. I felt terrible. My vision was going in and out, like vibrations, and auras rippling, like in the corner of my eyes and like the peripherals. The ripples were kind of like as if like you threw a stone, you throw a stone, it's like, and it goes, the water, like a ripple. And the sides of my peripherals during those ripples were like an opaque um, aura of greenish. And so basically, what I did, a good thing my brother was there and my friend, because I had to lay down. I just was like, no, I can't do it. Like my vision at that point, it was very tunnely and then the green stuff, and then it was going to go in black. But I don't pass out. I've never passed out in my life. It's almost like impossible for me to ever pass out. I have been knocked down when I walked. Was walking backwards, speed walking backwards in elementary school. Slammed into the back of the wall, hit my head, and that was the first time I ever been knocked out. But other than that, ailments and stuff has never made me pass out. I made it through all that and stuff, so I got my next appointment. I told my therapist what happened. She seemed confused and uninterested, with a hint of concern. There's a little hint of concern there. So I got pulled off my meds. I went through some withdrawals of the Adderall and whatever that medication was I was on for a week. Um, Again, I don't remember the name. I wish I did know the name so I could share that with you guys. But that was over a year ago. Then my therapist left me after I told her about what happened. Like I felt like I was dying and I was on the ground. My friend said I was pale and greenish and um, yeah. And so she left my facility and then I got pushed on to another therapist, and the therapist that I got, I couldn't even give her a chance because she just was way, 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 way worse. Um, I don't know if I should talk about her, how, well, you don't know her name, so it's fine. She just talked about herself and her accomplishments and the celebrities that she went to dinner with and whatnot, and how the psychiatry wasn't really her main focus. It was in agriculture. Why are you trying to help people out if that's not your main focus? Beyond me. I guess it's money, something to put in your resume. Sure, I don't know. I don't know. So I didn't give her a second appointment, you know that. She wanted to send me to Ohio too, to some gentleman who was, I guess, during that time, and I don't know, it's still going on, curing autism. Curing autism. I now know that autism is not a virus or a disease that you can cure. It's just who you are. It's who we are. It's our brain map. It's our brain is molded different, like a sheet burger. Our brains are just molded different. Sorry if that was loud. And then, so I said, I went to a burnout. I went to a meltdown because I just felt like I was kind of like a guinea pig, or I don't know, maybe someone's like, oh, yay, we cured this person, and look how successful he probably is, and whatnot. Woo! Put it in our portfolio. That's just what I got from the situation, how I kind of read the situation. Then I kind of got disheveled, dismayed, and just was like, you know what? I don't think anyone's really out here to help us or do any of that. So I'm just gonna go on with my life. I did. And so I went on with my life. I tried my best without any help of any kind. I told myself, I now know I have potential autism diagnosis. It was an official diagnosis. It just was, hey, a therapist, you may very much well be high functioning, whatever that is. It's just not official. I ended up losing my job. I ended up losing two jobs. I lost a relationship. I lost my apartment. I lost my car. After all that and all the emotional breakdowns, I said I need answers. I was like, what was wrong with me? I wanted to find out what's wrong with me. Who am I? What the hell is going on? I then went and got a counselor who I kind of had to probe and I had to probe her and like, annoy her to get me to um, get in touch with someone who does like autism diagnosis and whatnot. Um, it took it took about a month or so of me just constantly like kind of like I want to go do a testing, like I need to figure this out. And what she was telling me is, why are you so hyper focused on autism? Maybe if you don't hyper focus on it, you won't be autistic. That's how I took it. She didn't say it word for word like that, but she did say, why are you focusing on autism so much? I wonder why. So after like probing her and getting her to finally give me uh, it would be her mentor, where uh, she goes and asks all her questions and gets her information if she ever stuck or something. So it's basically her mentor and teacher. She finally gave me her information. I called, set up an appointment. Although it was like 45-minute drive, I went and did it. Yeah, and and it was staggering what I found out. Bear with me, my fellow humans. My I wrote this stuff all out, but I just said today I'm gonna do it. I put it off all weekend and I'm just gonna do it. And also, my headset keeps turning off, and I don't know how to stop it doing that. I finally got an amazing doctor who I told all the things and caught her up to speed. I asked, am I going to have to do another 8-hour test? Another 8-hour testing because at the other facility I went to, I had to do an 8-hour test. And like she told me that no, that's not what we're gonna do, and it's totally different. And then I asked her, I go, I asked why. Why would I have at the other place had to do an 8-hour test? She asked where it was located, and I stated where it was, and she goes, "Oh, I know that place. They like money." I laugh, and we kind of have a laugh together. I'm like, "Yeah, I get that." And as I was there, because I'm an observer, I'm constantly observing and watching and analyzing and just absorbing everything because everything's loud. And the ladies would be behind the desks talking about patients and chit-chatting about them. And sometimes they would kind of laugh about them, about some of the more psychosis type people probably need more help and they don't need to be at that facility anymore. And I told her, I was like, well, that's not surprising because I told her a story about how they would chit-chat to one another. After running through hoops and rings of fire and jumps and this, I got exactly what I thought my entire life was. I finally got my answer. I finally, after 35 years of feeling uncomfortable, feeling unaccepted, unappreciated, um, just completely alien within my own human world, because I am a human. There's nothing really different from me to another human. Blood, sweat, tears, skin follicles, insects, micro insects crawling all over, but we're all the same, just slightly different. Like your brain is just I was molded differently. And with this diagnosis, um, I had planned that I had planned for this to bring my relationship together with my mom. Um, Growing up was difficult for me and my family. My family had big expectations for me, and I couldn't function like other people, so I always felt like I was failing, and then I felt like I was always a burden because I couldn't keep up, especially in academics. Um, I couldn't keep up with everyone around me. And when it comes to academics, I did really good, but then some months I would just do really bad. Some months, and for me, my perspective and what I've learned is like I got like in school, I got a 3 months of almost like what I would now know. I feel neurotypical, like a typical person. I math and grammar and all that stuff. It clicked for me. Boom, boom, boom. And I made good grades within the 3 months period. But then now I know that I have meltdowns and burnouts and emotional things that happen, shutdowns. When I go through those shutdowns, those back then were consistently about the same. Every 3 months I'm on, every 3 months I'm off. It was so frustrating, and just imagining just my self-talk inside back then was just diminishing and mean to myself, and I self-harmed a little bit too because I couldn't figure out what was going on. And sometimes when I would go through my meltdowns and burnouts, my sensory to feel pain turned off. And that kind of made me feel more non-human because what human doesn't have pain? I could self-harm and never feel the pain. And when I was self-harming, for me, it was a form of crying because I couldn't cry. I didn't know how, and I didn't know really what it was or why people cried. And at some point, I just was like, I needed to feel that. So that was my self-harm journey. I don't do that anymore. I've learned, thanks to my diagnosis and stuff, I have my answers. And, if I would have had it back then, I probably wouldn't self-harm. But hindsight, 2020. Um, but as I was a kid, I knew all some of these things were ADHD because a lot of my friends and stuff were also ADHD around me in school and stuff. Uh, and so I almost just kind of just assumed through high school and through college that I was just an ADHD kid and I can just make do, just get over it and kind of just push, push, push. I've always been a push. I always really push myself. Um, Here's an example. A couple weeks ago, I was out mowing the grass, uh, and I was out mowing the grass. I was having a really bad meltdown day, shut down, but I try to just make do and ignore them. I still do that. It's probably not smart, but I did. I went out and I needed to cut the grass and get the yard work done. And in the middle of my yard work, I just bleh. I started just, you know, blehing everywhere. And it just was ridiculous. And I had to lay on the floor for a couple hours. And I don't admit defeat. I refuse to be defeated. I ended up finishing uh, cutting the grass and stuff. Um, but that's just kind of how I am. And I've just never admitted defeat, and I will always want to finish my current task at hand. So now for those stories and stuff. But I have my diagnosis and my official diagnosis. I am an actual autistic human being, and it is it was sort of a weight off my shoulder, but also kind of an added burden because it's like you always knew this, but then you have like a official, so it's kind of like a shock. I don't know. And like I told my therapist, like I was on this journey when my mom was still alive, and I did have planned that it would bring us together and finally give us answers and help tell her, hey, like this was my reasons for, as a kid doing this, and this is why I did this as a teen, this is why I did this in college, so on and so forth. But my mom passed away, and that was just a more heavy burden. I kind of broke down in my therapist's office, and then I broke down more because I don't like to break down in front of people. Um, broke down in my car, just like, man, all I had was just one more year, and maybe we could have had our um, togetherness or my family, have my mom back where it wasn't. Like I said, growing up was difficult. I was constantly grounded. Uh, I didn't get out a lot or do anything a lot. One, because of autism, and I sometimes I couldn't, but when I would and could do things, I wasn't allowed to because I was grounded all the time. Uh, but here I am, peace and loving. Everything's really good in my life. I very patient with myself. I take care of myself now that I have everything I know. And now I have my official diagnosis. I have a drive and a I have a total understanding. I want to totally understand autism and bring about understanding to others. And due to being a late diagnosis, I have formed my own coping mechanisms that I hope to share in future videos. Um, and I want to take my journey and the things that I research and I learn, and I want to get them out comprehensive also for myself so I can fully understand it. And if anyone's like on my level, who kind of has a hard time understanding things, and maybe I can, once I get it to click in my head and I can cognitively understand it, I can put it out in a knowledgeable manner, and hopefully people can accept that and learn from that. And my headset got turned off again. I'm not a rich guy. I don't have a lot of fancy microphones and headsets and stuff like that. So if my audio and stuff sucks, I will try to get better. Um, Finances right now are too beautiful. But anyways, my number one thing, I want to understand my own existence and my own experience with the things I research. Two, sharing my perspective and how to interpret the world around me and getting it out, like I said, in a cognitive, cohesive manner. And my third, provide a safe and interesting community. And if you get some laughs out of it, sure, because I'm pretty dorky and it's okay. We all need to smile and laugh. They're just bonus perks, right? Woot woot. I promise I will get better with this content creation. Tis been a pretty rough understanding, but I think I got it understand and how to do it. Um, but I think I get it, and I hope I can provide a cool, awesome, safe area for us all that we can just talk, hang out, get things off our chest if we're just in that phase. Um, yeah, and thank you. Thank you for joining me on my journey, and I hope to continue my journey, and I hope you enjoy and evolve with me. Because I want to continually to evolve, and I want to hopefully have everyone around me grow and evolve as well. That was supposed to be my first video, my introduction video. Peace and love, my fellow humans. Remember to comment, like, and share. You can subscribe if you want. I don't. This whole pushing subscribe stuff, I don't really like doing. But yeah, it's just a fun, cool place for us to just hang out and learn and grab some knowledge. Peace and love, guys. I love you. Um, yeah. Bye.